Hey guys, Scott here. So today's video, we're going to be doing a flame layout using candies, pagan gold to candy tangerine to candy red. As you can see, I've already done the flame layout. By the way, be sure and look at one of my other videos that show how to do a flame layout. I'm actually wearing a GoPro, which helps you out. So you can get a better view on what I'm doing here. You can also see that I've outlined it with my green 1/4 inch, part number 26344. And I outlined that just to give me a bigger surface where I can fill in. As you can see, I filled in there. So we're going to be doing this in a matte finish, but I'm going to be doing all my color work. It's going to have a grabber blue outline. I'm going to be gloss clear first, resand, and then matte clear. The reason is because you want to get it flat before you actually spray the matte clear on there. So this video will show you the ins and outs of doing a crossover. So as you can see, I got 2 crossovers on here. So you can see I haven't done any cutting right there. So each segment I put on here, I'll try to show you step by step using this fender. And we're doing a whole set, but showing you on this fender, of course, I do all the steps the same on the other parts. So get a good look at this. First step, we'll be doing the outline first, the outline color first, since I don't hand pinstripe. Be sure and check out my video on how to do pinstripes first. When you don't know how to hand pinstripe, you can do the color first and then re-outline it. So be sure and check that video out too. So more segments to come. The next one will have the grabber blue, and I'll be cutting these out where it crosses over. And I'll show you how that works out. So I'll be also adding drop shadows so it has a 3D look. So stay tuned, more segments to come. Okay guys, we're in the spray booth. We got all these parts masked up. As you can see, used a combination of 1/4 inch, 3/4 inch, and some masking paper. So you see we got them all masked up. You can also see that every part that we have in here, we got some crossovers going on. So you can see on the tank over here, we got a crossover that's going to be up here. I haven't decided if the lick's going over the flame or the flame's going over the lick. So, and then we got, this will be interesting right here, what I'm going to do. I'll probably put this one below this one and this lick down here and put a drop shadow there and there, so it'll look like this whole flame is below these two. So what I wanted to show you, now that it's all taped up, the next step. So using our front fender as a guide, as our guinea pig here, using a new razor blade, what we're going to do now is the time that we cut all the crossovers, where all this is going to happen. So what we want to do, make sure the razor blade's straight up and down. Don't score the paint. Lightly cut into that, using the corner. Peel it up like that, and then you can go the other way. Right there. Don't cut all the way across. Right there. I always cut the lower one first. Lower. Lower. Make sure the razor blade's straight up. You can also use an X-Acto knife. Okay, very carefully. Peel that up. Peel that up. Peel that up. Okay, we're going to do the same on this one. Make sure you're pressed up against the edge there. Cut. Cut. You can do all of them before you pull it up if you want to. Be very careful not to score the paint. I also failed to mention earlier, before we did the flame layout, this is actually black with clear coat and resanded. So it's not just raw base coat. Take that one out. Be careful not to pick the paint too. Even though it's clear coated, you can still, every once in a while you get one that hangs. Just go back, cut it like that. This one's kind of fighting. There we go. Okay, we got those cut. So you can see that opened it up. So I'm going to do the rest of these parts. What we're going to do then is we'll go ahead and spray the outline color, which is grabber blue. And then I'll show you where the magic begins on choosing which one crosses over the other. That's where you want to do that with the outline of the 16th inch tape. So we'll do another segment soon, and thanks for hanging in there. Interesting stuff, gonna be pretty cool when this job's done, so appreciate you watching. I am back. As you can see, I got the blue outline color on. Got them on all the parts here. Can't wait to see how this tank turns out. This should be pretty sharp. Now I got a few overlapping licks and flames here. So I got the fender out here. And if you view my other videos, you'll see some of them have what this green tape is all about on the outside of the outline color. I got videos showing how to do a pinstriped outline first on a flame job. Be sure and check that video out. So the reason I'm rehashing this is to show you how this overlapping will work. So right here, I decided to put the licks over the actual flame. So what you do is do that first. So I came down here and followed it all the way around, and I did this the same. I stopped it right there and I cut it nice and neat. So I did the same on this side. I haven't put the green 1/4 inch on here yet. So as you can see, if I wanted to go the other way, if I wanted this main flame lick or flame over the licks, I would continue this, and these. I would do this flame first, but I decided on the licks first. So on some of the other parts, I'll have the flame actually going over the licks, but this I decided to do the licks over the flame. So I still got the rest of this to do. The next 3 hours, I'll be doing the rest of the parts and everything. Be sure and check out my other videos too. Like I said, they'll show you how to do flame layout, how to do the outline first, all kinds of tips and tricks on flames, and I'll have more upcoming videos. So this is the end of this segment. So the next segment I will do the silver base, some candy, and we'll go from there. Okay, we have everything outlined. We got our insurance 1/4 inch tape on, prevent blow through. I chose which overlapping licks and flames I wanted. And as you can see, this is how this is looking. Also, a little insurance too, on the tips here, we put a little piece of tape just to make sure that we don't leave any exposed blue on the pinstripe ends on the very tips. So the game plan here is to spray a very light coated gray on here. What that does is kill the blue, makes it easier for the base color to cover. Of course I still got the bag, so I just wanted to show you what it looked like without the gray and with the gray. And so like I said, the game plan is to spray a light coated gray. And then what I'm going to do is spray a light coat or coverage, make sure it's covered, a light gold. Gold will look good under all those candy colors, the candy pagan gold, the candy tangerine, and the candy red. So I'll probably spray most of the flames in candy pagan gold, and then I'll dust some over-reduced candy tangerine, and then do the tips in candy red. So now all that is done with KK, candy concentrate, not the UK, which is a urethane candy. So I wanted to show you how this flame is gonna look here. You can see the center flame will be underneath this lick and underneath this flame. So I'll put a little drop shadow there, and I'll put even a lighter drop shadow there. So anyway, I'll go ahead and do this process, the gray, the gold, and then all the fading of the candy. And then I will come back and show you what it looks like before we start pulling tape, or actually I'll pull some of the tape, and then I'll leave a piece so I can pull the tape to show you what it looks like as we pull it. Well, actually, I wanted to squeeze one more segment in for you guys. So I got the very light gold made up. I'm going to show you how quick this covers. It's a very fine silver mixed with a little gold toner. And the reason I made it a gold is because like I said, the candies will cover this. It's like I jump-started the candy already because it's already starting out a little bit gold. So anyway, I'm going to try to shoot this at the same time I'm holding the camera, so we'll try. I'm just barely pulling the trigger. LPH 400, Iwata. Just want to make sure it's covered, doesn't have to be shiny. Just got to kill the remaining blue and that gray. Okay, that's what it's going to look like before I candy it. So now I will finish this, and when I come back, we'll be pulling some tape. Okay, we got all the parts candied. I think they came out excellent. I got one piece over here. I got most of the tape pulled just to give you an idea. So our next step after this, of course, we're going to pull all the paper off and clean the edges. See my other videos on a few tips on how to clean the edges. If you notice, like right here, you'll see the red tips, and right here, you have to individually mask off those flame licks, the very end, so you can spray them and so you don't get overspray next to them. So even if they're close, let's see if I can find one here. Let's see, I know I had some. You can see how the tank came out. It came out real good. So the one down at the bottom here, I masked off right there so it doesn't get on the flame above there. So you can see we're going to add drop shadows there and a lighter one right there. Since a light source is coming from the top, you want a very light drop shadow on upward surfaces like that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to peel some of this and show you how the front fender's coming out. I'm holding the camera too, so I got to be real careful. I don't want to pull this fender off the... When you pull tape, especially the 16th inch, you want to be real careful. It's a good idea to pull just like this, because what it's actually doing is cutting the paint so it doesn't fold over. So I got a piece over here. Now you don't have to pull one piece at a time, obviously, but sometimes I just pull a big chunk, but I'll pull like this way just so it cuts the paint. So sometimes, especially on thicker paint jobs like this, you may have some candy that lays over the blue. You can do the cleanup. When you clean your edges, you want to make sure you get all those stragglers off. So our next step, like I said, is pulling all the paper off. We'll clean the edges. Then I'm going to clear coat. I do have a few little flaws, I'm sure. I haven't seen any, but I'm sure I will. So you want to clear coat it first before doing that, for fear that you might have a problem peeling the paint off. You get blow through or something like that. Blow through on candy is not fun to fix. So you clear coat it first to protect everything. Once you clean the edges, re-sand it flat, and then like I said, this is going to matte finish. So once I do all my touch-ups and everything, that's when I spray the matte clear. So again, we'll pull the paper off. We'll clean the edges. We won't do all our touch-ups then. We'll clear coat it with gloss clear and then re-sand it. Then I do my touch-ups, just minor touch-ups. I'll even do my drop shadows most likely then. And then once it's completely ready, then we'll go ahead and put the matte clear on there. The surface will be already flat as far as feeling the edges. So I think it's coming out real good though. You can see how this is coming together. See a top surface? There's another lick I had to individually mask off. Again, you got to be real careful masking those off, because if you get blow through like on the orange next to it, the tangerine, you pretty much got to do the base and the candy over again. So be real careful masking those off. So as you can see, there's a lot of steps involved in this paint job. So a lot of material costs. So if you guys are painters, be sure and price these jobs accordingly, because they do require a lot of steps. You just don't paint them, clear them, and you're done. So our next step, once we get this done, once we get the next step done, I'll go ahead and take another segment. So hope you're enjoying the video. As you can see, I got all the parts gloss cleared. So now what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and sand these flat. I'm going to do some touch-ups, do the drop shadows, re-clear them with the matte finish clear. Put some flattening agent in the gloss clear, bring it down to a matte finish. So I mentioned earlier, don't do any touch-ups until after you clear coat. Definitely do the touch-ups after you clear coat, but if you got any blow through the previous step, it would have been a good time to go ahead and wipe those off with some lacquer thinner. That's as long as you have the black base coat clear coated. Like I mentioned in the earlier segment, that the black was base clear and resanded, and we got them all set for the flames. So that's a good time to wipe off your blow through, since it's already clear coated, the black is. If it's not clear coated, you're gonna have to be very careful and either sand the blow throughs off with 1500, or you're gonna have to spot them in with black. That's why I clear coat them, because they're easier to just wipe them off with lacquer thinner. Get a nice surface to do a flame job on too. So anyway, so we're gonna sand these down, do the touch-ups, drop shadows, everything else. So next time you see these, they will look completely different. They'll have a matte finish. So hope you are enjoying the video. Any questions, feel free to put them down below. Hey guys, just got done spraying these parts a couple hours ago. I've been letting them dull out a little bit so I could show you the effect it's given. So you can see putting a matte finish over the black really makes the flames pop. I wanted to show you this front fender, how it came out and how I did the licks. As you can see, these flame licks are real close together, so what I do when they're this close, I put a drop shadow on one side only. So the light source comes from the top here, and I got it on one side. It looks kind of silly to put a shadow here and on the outside here, so both go on the left side or the right side. Choice is yours. Now on the rear fender, I felt there was enough space between the licks that I did put them both on the inside. So customer wanted some custom lettering on the back. So I'm sure we know what happened to his stimulus check. Okay. And more drop shadows. You can see how that came out on the bag. I got 2 on the lid. You can see how the flame licks look. Then matching lid. And on the tank, I do a different type of drop shadow. I do it away from the flame lick. It really gives it definition, really makes it look like it's hovering above the surface. So it came out real nice, and this is how the flame came out. You can see I kind of put it laying between the bottom flame lick and the upper flame itself. So this, as you can see, the matte finish over the black really makes this candy job pop. So especially with the bright blue outline. So some tips for you guys. I got a cross flow spray booth. Anytime you get a bag or a bunch of parts in here, what you want to do is start from the back of the booth, opposite of where the fan is, and start at the back of the booth and work your way forward, spraying the parts. Because if you start at the beginning, by the time you get to the end, your overspray will land on top of the parts up at the front of the booth and making it kind of hazy, or splotchy. So good to start. That's only for matte finishes. Gloss, it's not that big of a deal. You know, it melts in, but you want to keep matte finishes are a little harder to spray, a little different. So drop shadows, as you can see, all of them I put real close to the flame, except for on the tank. So I think it came out excellent. So this concludes this video. This was a lot of work, a lot of steps, a lot of material. So if you guys are doing this job, make sure you plan accordingly. You got a lot of steps involved, price accordingly. So it came out super, super nice. Oh, I wanted to show you one more thing on how I mix this, since usually mixing cups, most common is a quart. So again, I use UC35 KU150 hardener, MR186 reducer. So what I do, I use the 422, which is the same as 211. So I go clear, hardener, reducer. Clear, hardener, reducer. And then what I do, once I mix that, I turn it to here, 20 ounces. So I got 20 ounces of mixed clear. So then what I do, I have another cup here, my One Choice SU4985 flattening agent. So I want 2:1 to the mixed clear and the flattening agent. So 20 ounces of clear, so I want 10 ounces of flattening agent. So I pour that in there, the flattening agent, and then I just back and forth, stir the clear up real good, and then back and forth 6 to 10 times, make sure it's thoroughly stirred, and that will give you about 1.5 quarts, which is pretty much plenty to do this bagger. So there's no front fairing. So again, I wanted to hone in on this front fender, which is what we focused on. Show you a close-up of it. The drop shadows really give it dimension. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thumbs up, subscribe, I'd appreciate it. Any questions, feel free to ask them below, and I'll be sure to answer them best of my ability. So I appreciate you watching.